When people talk about success, they love to talk about the big moments, the victories, the breakthroughs, the applause. But what they never talk about, what they never want to admit, is that none of that is possible without the tiny, invisible habits you build when nobody is watching. The world sees the celebration, but it doesn't see the discipline. It sees the outcome, but not the repetition. It sees the trophy, but not the hours you spent doing the same small thing again and again until it became a part of you. And that's why so many people stay stuck. They're trying to win on the stage while losing in their routine. They want results without rhythms. They want transformation without repetition. They want the destination without embracing the daily. Every dream you have, every vision you talk about, every break through you crave, it's all hiding inside the habits you practice when the world isn't paying attention. Because the truth is simple, what you repeatedly do becomes who you are. You don't rise to your potential, you rise to your patterns. Your potential is the possibility, but your habits are the proof. And when you're in that space alone, with no applause, no cheering, no validation, that's when the real version of you shows up. Not the version you post, not the version you talk about, the version that your habits reveal. Think about the small decisions you make every day, the decision to get up when the alarm rings or hit snooze, the decision to read for 10 minutes or scroll for an hour, the decision to take one more step or settle where you are. Those aren't just moments, those are bricks, and every brick you lay is building the life you're about to walk into. Most people don't realize it, but the tiny choices are constructing their destiny piece by piece. They think the small things don't matter because the results don't show up instantly, but that's the trap. Habits don't shout, habits whisper. They whisper long before anyone hears the volume of your success. And here's the powerful part, the habits you keep in private eventually become the reputation you carry in public. People look at someone winning and call them lucky, they call them gifted, they call them chosen. No, they were consistent, they were structured, they were dedicated when nothing was happening, when nothing was changing, when nothing was guaranteed. They showed up even on the days when the results were invisible. That's what makes a habit indivisible, when it becomes so embedded into your identity that skipping it feels wrong. When it's no longer something you try to do, but something you are. You don't need big leaps. You need small steps done so consistently they turn into instinct. That's where the transformation happens. Not in one giant motivation, but in thousands of tiny moments where you choose discipline over distraction. Small, unseen, uncelebrated actions of power. Over time, those little habits stack up. First, nothing no longer built on emotion. I can build on structure, built on stability, built on the same thing until they change into something. People underestimate how powerful a small, quiet habit can be when it's done every day. They underestimate how easy one table making one call practice waking up 10 minutes early and how all of that but destiny is built on relation, not knowing slowly the greatness you learn it. Every day you choose your habits. Every day you have to. Let me tell you something. Your life right now is if you're tired of where you are, don't change it. Change the name. If you're tired of feeling stuck, don't blame your circumstances. Examine your consistency. Your habits are either pushing you forward or holding you hostage. There is no middle ground. You're either reinforcing the person you want to be or the person you keep trying to escape. And most people don't struggle because they lack desire. They struggle because they lack structure. They want a powerful life with powerless habits. It doesn't work like that. Your habits must match your goals. Your behaviors must match your blessings. Your routine must match your results. When you finally commit to building indivisible habits, the kind that don't break under pressure, the kind that don't disappear when life gets tough, the kind that you protect no matter what, that's when your life shifts. That's when people start saying you changed when the truth is you didn't change. You just got consistent. You aligned your daily with your destiny. And once those habits lock in, once they fuse into your identity, once they become the non-negotiables of your life, nobody can stop you. Not stress, not fear, not doubt, not circumstance, because you've built the discipline that builds the destiny. So if you want to know where you're going, don't check your goals, check your habits. They're already telling the truth about your future. The moment discipline stops being an option and becomes a requirement, everything in your life begins to shift. Most people treat discipline like a mood, something they only step into when they feel inspired, when life is calm, when the conditions are perfect. But discipline was never meant to be emotional. Discipline was meant to be structural. It's what you lean on when your feelings fail you. It's what carries you when your motivation disappears. It's what holds your life together when everything else feels like it's falling apart. And the people who win at the highest level aren't the ones who are the most talented or the most gifted. They're the ones who made discipline a non-negotiable part of who they are. They don't do it when it's easy. They do it because it's required. The truth is, you can't build an extraordinary life on optional behaviors. You can't hope your way into greatness. You can't wish your way into a new future. There comes a point where you must decide, this is who I am now. This is what I do now. This is my standard, whether I feel like it or not. When discipline becomes identity, your destiny becomes inevitable, because the moment you shift from I'm trying to I must, the entire rhythm of your life changes. Your body changes, your thinking changes, your work changes, your energy changes, and slowly your results start catching up to the level of your discipline. People fail not because they set the wrong goals, but because they live with the wrong boundaries. They want the reward without the requirement. They want the outcome without the habits. But discipline says, no matter what's happening, I show up. And when you show up consistently enough, something powerful happens that discipline starts fusing with your identity until it becomes unbreakable. It becomes indivisible. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making excuses for yourself. You stop giving yourself the option to quit. That's what separates champions from dreamers. Dreamers wait for the right moment. Champions create the right moment by doing the work even when they're tired, even when they're stressed, even when the world is pushing against them. There's a version of you haven't even met yet, stronger, sharper, more focused, more resilient, and the only way to unlock that version is by turning discipline into something sacred, something you protect, something you don't compromise no matter what. Because when discipline becomes who you are, success becomes something you repeat, not something you chase. You begin operating from a higher plane. You no longer ask, do I feel like doing this? You ask, what must I do to stay aligned with the person I'm becoming? And the moment that question becomes your default, your entire life opens up. Some days you're going to wake up exhausted. Some days life will hit you hard. Some days distractions will scream louder than your purpose. But discipline stays steady. Discipline keeps you centered. Discipline reminds you that your future is shaped by what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. And when discipline becomes a core part of your identity, you no longer crumble when life gets difficult. You become anchored, you become grounded, you become someone who can be counted on not just by others, but by yourself. That's the biggest thing discipline gives you, trust. Not trust from the world, trust from you. The most dangerous place a person can be is in a space where they don't believe their own promises, where every commitment they make to themselves is fragile, where every goal they set is temporary. But when discipline becomes non-negotiable, you rebuild that trust piece by piece. You start to believe yourself again. You start to respect yourself again. And from that place, everything becomes possible. Your energy rises, your confidence builds, your mind sharpens, your standards elevate, and the best part, once discipline becomes identity, it becomes harder to quit than to continue. You feel out of place when you slip. You feel uncomfortable when you fall off. You feel misaligned when you drift from your habits. That discomfort is proof you're growing, and when discipline reaches that level, when it becomes a part of your DNA, doors start opening you didn't even know existed. Opportunities start finding you. People start noticing the consistency you've been practicing in silence. The results you used to chase begin chasing you, and you realize the secret was never talent, never luck, never timing. The secret was showing up every day with intention, with focus, with effort, even when no one saw it. Especially when no one saw it. Discipline isn't something you do, it's something you become. When you finally understand that, when you finally embrace it, when you finally commit to it without negotiation, your destiny shifts. Your whole life takes on a new rhythm, a new power, a new direction. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop hoping for change and start enforcing it through the habits you refuse to break. And that's why discipline must become non-negotiable. Because the moment it becomes part of who you are, the life you've been dreaming about stops being a fantasy and starts becoming your path. There's something people don't understand about success. It's never built in the spotlight. It's never built on the stage. It's never built when the crowd is cheering or when the cameras are rolling. Success is born when no one sees you. It comes from the work you do in private, the choices you make when nobody's clapping, the sacrifices you make in silence. The world only sees the results, but your habits, the ones you repeat in the dark, in the quiet, in the lonely stretches of the journey, those are the things that determine everything you earn in public. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants recognition. Everybody wants the moment where people finally say, you made it. But very few people are willing to do the invisible work that leads to that moment. Because it's not pretty, it's not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's repetitive, boring, demanding, and unforgiving. It's waking up earlier than you want to. It's staying later than you feel comfortable. It's practicing until your body is tired and your mind wants to shut down. It's showing up on the days when the results are delayed, when progress is slow, when nobody believes in you, not even you. That's the kind of work that builds greatness. That's the kind of work that separates the dreamers from the doers. What you repeat in private is shaping your character. It's building your resilience. It's strengthening your discipline. It's forming your identity piece by piece. And what's powerful is this. Your habits in private don't just prepare you for success. They protect you from collapse when success comes. Because if you only chase results, success will expose you. But if you build habits, success will reward you. The world sees your performance, but your habits determine your preparation, and preparation is everything. People always say, if I got one shot, I'd kill it. No, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall to your training. You won't rise to your goals. You'll fall to your routines. You won't rise to your potential. You'll fall to your habits. That's why what you do when nobody's watching matters so much. That's why the private grind is non-negotiable, because you are building the person who will show up when the opportunity finally comes. And if that person isn't strong, disciplined, consistent, focused, and ready, the opportunity won't matter. It'll slip right through your fingers. Your private work is where you sharpen your tools. It's where you develop the endurance, the courage, the discipline that the public never sees. And that's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you powerful. When you've done the private work, the world can't break you because you weren't built by applause, you were built by habits. Your confidence doesn't come from compliments, it comes from consistency. Your strength doesn't come from validation. It comes from repetition. The world didn't give you your fire, so the world can't take it away. And the crazy thing is, the habits you repeat when nobody sees you, they're already broadcasting your future. If you want to know where you'll be in a year, don't look at your goals. Look at what you do every day behind closed doors. Look at the hours you spend preparing when you could be relaxing. Look at the sacrifices you make when comfort is calling your name. Look at the discipline you maintain when distraction is easier. That's the real scoreboard. That's the real proof. That's the blueprint of your future. Too many people want to be discovered before they develop. They want to be rewarded before they're ready. They want the stage without the struggle. But the truth is, your private discipline is what separates you from everyone else. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're complaining, you're improving. While they're waiting, you're building. And that's why your success will look different. That's why your results will hit harder. Because you earned them in the shadows long before the light found you. There's a part of you right now that knows the truth. You're not being held back by lack of opportunity. You're being held back by lack of private consistency. You know how to post your goals. You know how to talk about your dreams. The question is, do you practice the habits required to make them real? Do you show up when no one sees you? Do you give effort when no one is clapping? Do you push yourself when no one is watching? That's where the separation happens. That's where greatness begins, and the beautiful thing is this, the private work never lies, it always pays you back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually your habits announce themselves. Eventually your discipline becomes visible. Eventually doors open that others can't understand because they never saw what you built in the dark. The world only sees the shine, but they'll never understand the grind. They don't have to because you lived it. You earned it. You bled for it. You didn't wait for applause to validate you. Your results became your validation. And when that moment comes, when your private habits finally break into the public world and people start asking, how did you do it? How did you get here? You'll know the truth. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It wasn't timing. It was the work you repeated when no one was watching that made everything possible. When you finally recognize that the smallest habits, those tiny, quiet choices you make when nobody's around are actually shaping the biggest parts of who you become, everything in your life starts to shift. You stop looking for the massive breakthrough, the perfect opportunity, the huge moment that's going to change everything. You start realizing the real power is in what you do consistently, not occasionally. It's in the things so small that most people overlook them. But that's why they're powerful, because the world isn't paying attention, but your future is. Your destiny is being built in silence, one invisible decision at a time. And the reason so many people never step into their greatness is because they underestimate the weight of the habits that feel too small to matter. They think it's just one morning, it's just one skipped rep, it's just 1 hour wasted. Not knowing those moments are not isolated, they're cumulative. Those invisible habits are the foundation of who you are becoming, and whether you realize it or not, you're training yourself every single day. You're training your mind, your discipline, your response to pressure, your level of commitment. Every tiny habit is a message you send to yourself about who you are, and that message becomes your identity. You can't say you want to be strong and then practice weakness. You can't say you want to be excellent and then practice inconsistency. You can't say you want success and then rehearse excuses. Those small choices are rehearsals for your future. They are the pre-game, they are the warm-up, they are the silent reps that nobody sees but everybody one day will feel. People think habit is about behavior. It's not. Habit is about identity. It's not what you're doing. It's who you're becoming. That's why the invisible habits matter more than the big, impressive ones you show the world. Those big moments, they're just the harvest of what you planted in private. And the reason some people always look surprised when life hits them is because they want destiny without discipline. They want greatness without groundwork. They want elevation without foundation. But destiny doesn't respond to desire. It responds to pattern. It responds to rhythm. It responds to repetition. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are lazy, your results will be delayed. If your habits are inconsistent, your progress will always reset. If your habits are emotional, your future will be unstable. But the moment you build habits that are non-negotiable, habits that you don't debate, don't negotiate, don't question, your entire life changes. You become dangerous not because you're bigger or stronger or smarter, but because you're consistent. The world cannot beat a person who refuses to break their habits. And you know what makes invisible habits powerful. They work even when you don't feel motivated. They carry you on the days you're exhausted. They protect you from the days you feel weak. They keep your character in place when your emotions want to move you out of position. If discipline is the engine, invisible habits are the gas. You cannot run without them. The truth is, some of you are losing not because you're incapable, but because you're untrained. You're praying for strength, but practicing fragility. You're asking for breakthrough while maintaining the same habits that keep you stuck. You're hoping for a different life while living the same patterns. Life doesn't change when you want more. Life changes when you become more. And becoming more happens in those quiet, tiny moments. The ones nobody congratulates you for, the ones nobody notices, the ones you think don't matter, but they matter. They matter because they accumulate. They matter because they hardwire your character. They matter because they determine how you show up when the pressure is real, when the stakes are high, when the opportunity finally arrives. By the time your moment comes, it's too late to prepare. That moment will only magnify whatever habits you've been practicing all along. So don't wait until life forces you to change. Don't wait until you're behind, hurting, or desperate. Start now. Start small. Start with the habit that looks too insignificant to change your life, because that's the one that actually will. Build the invisible habits that build the unstoppable version of you, because destiny doesn't belong to the most talented. Destiny belongs to the most consistent.